Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Newsflash. Thank you so much for joining us. Thought I'd do a little fun Friday morning treat for everybody listening, getting another nice news flash in. That's always fun. On today's show, we're talking about the Iranian missile accidentally brought down a Ukrainian jet, citing early evidence, U.S. officials. That's what they're saying at this moment. House Democrats have sent a loud no war with Iran message to Trump with the passage of the War Powers, with some even Republicans joining in this. Folks, yes, did cross party lines. And has nothing been learned since 2003? Corporate media welcome back the Iran war hawks to make the case for another war with Iran. The Iraq war hawks to make a case for another war with Iran. And a survey now shows the richest 1% are not necessarily happier, but all that money convinced them that, yes, the American dream is real. So, yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that. But first, we're talking about this Iranian missile. Western intelligence showed that Iran was responsible for the plane crash, suggesting the death of those aboard with the heightened tensions between Washington and Iran. But do the people in Iran know this? Probably not. They probably have some other spun version of events here, and that's obviously no surprise, although it does kind of suck that they're being misinformed, because there are people on this plane who obviously, they're mostly Iranian, if I understand correctly, and they are really just not going to be informed. They're not going to know what happened to their loved ones and their families. They're just not going to know, which is really, really sucky. So the disclosures suggested that deaths were a consequence of the heightened tensions between Washington and Tehran that have played out since an American drone strike killed a top Iranian general last week. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Canada, citing a preliminary review of the evidence, called for a full investigation to be convinced beyond all doubt. The jetliner was carrying 63 Canadians among its 176 passengers and crew, so Canada definitely has a pretty big stake in this. Also, there's 176 people who have all very unfortunately passed away, 63 of which were Canadians. So there's going to be Canadians who are going to be really missing members of their family tonight. So it's really very, very unfortunate. And it's all because of these heightened tensions and the fact that whatever happened, whether it was, like, what specifically the mistake was, we don't know, but it's very, very hard to tell. It's very, very hard to tell what the mistake was at this point until we get fuller evidence on it. But it seems that this was the result of maybe faulty systems or more tensions and stuff like that. So we just do not know at this point in time. So Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, citing a preliminary review of evidence, he called for a full investigation. They're saying, quote, "We recognize that this may have been done accidentally. The evidence suggests a very, very clear and possible probable cause for the crash." So it's like they're pretty much very, very sure, beyond shadow of a doubt, 100%, that they are, like, that they have at least reached a conclusion that Iran is responsible for shooting this plane down accidentally. I mean, I don't see why they would have done it on purpose. So I'm going to tell you, I don't know how many Iranians were there, but I don't see why they would have done it on purpose. So President Trump, speaking earlier at the White House, said only that he suspected the downing of the plane was a result of a mistake on the other side. Senior American officials were more forthcoming, saying that they had a high level of confidence in their findings. So yeah, they're pretty much absolutely sure with this. Same with Canada. American intelligence agencies determined that a Russian-made Iranian defense system fired 2 surface-to-air missiles at the plane. One official said maybe the surface-to-air missiles were because it was an American plane. I hope it wasn't a human that made that mistake. Maybe just a faulty machine. Like, we don't know. And video verified by the New York Times appears to show an Iranian missile exploding near a plane above Paran, near Tehran's airport, where this jetliner stopped transmitting its a signal from the black box right before it crashed. So those aboard the plane most likely faced horrifying final moments, starting with an explosion as the missiles detonated just outside it, sending shrapnel and debris spiraling through the fuselage. The plane turned back towards the airport, then begins uncontrolled descent toward the ground. So yeah, that's going to be absolutely horrifying to be in, because it wasn't the first. It wasn't like the first moment, like you hit the thing and then boom, immediate explosion upon impact. It was like you still got that descent too. It's like, oh, it's just absolutely horrible. So an initial Iranian report, at least Thursday, said the plane bound for the Ukrainian capital of Kiev was in flames before it hit the ground, but sent no distress signal. A security camera captured its impact. First, the pre-dawn darkness, the series of blinding bursts of light into the distance, followed by a storm of burning debris in the foreground. So everything kind of coming apart. Not something that would normally happen unless maybe something hit the fuselage, maybe a missile, to make that happen. So yeah, definitely very, very, very embarrassing and awful thing to happen for Iran. So even before the world leaders and American officials confirmed the intelligence assessment, the mysterious circumstances of the disaster had raised suspicions that a missile brought down the airliner. The crash occurred hours after Iran launched a barrage of ballistic missiles at American targets in Iraq and Tehran, bracing for possible American retaliation, probably readied its ample air defense system. After Iran began firing missiles early on Wednesday, in retaliation for the killing of Major General Qasem Soleimani, international airlines rerouted flights away from Iran, and the Federal Aviation Administration barred American carriers from the airspace in the region. So new information about this tragic mistake with its air defense system raised questions about why Iranian authorities had not stopped flights in and out of Tehran. So, that's something that you just cannot afford to make a mistake on at this point, I really think. Iran denied that its military was responsible for the crash of the plane. Ali Rabai, an Iranian government spokesman, called it a big lie and blamed the accusations on psychological warfare against Tehran. The United States is making the pain of the families worse, said Rabai in a statement. This, by the way, was reporting here from the New York Times. Iranian officials questioned with the Western account, saying the plane would have exploded if hit by a missile. The air defense system used Wednesday, however, is designed to explode near aircraft, creating shrapnel that takes the plane out of the sky, as we talked about before, rather than directly hit, kind of make it more terrifying for the people in it, and watching it kind of as it explodes. But some of the Russian stuff that they make there, that can be really good and really effective, and that was something that Iran was able to get its hands on before the sanctions got too overwhelming on them. So, yeah. The site of the crash, so yeah, you can see it comes up, it kind of comes up, there's like a little graphic of it, and then the plane went quite far into hopefully an unabandoned area, but it seems like no one was killed when the plane hit the ground, but just unfortunately everybody died when things were when the plane actually, anyone who died in the plane. So at least there is that. In addition to denying responsibility, Iran invited the National Transportation Safety Board of the U.S. to assist in the investigation, despite previous reports the Americans would not be involved. So it's interesting, they are inviting in the National Transportation Safety Board members there. According to correspondence reviewed by The Times, the board assigned an investigator to the crash, a spokesman said on Thursday evening. Iranian authorities recovered the plane's black box flight data recorders, but said they were damaged by crash and fire. The Iranian report said that raised possibility of some of the information stored in them electronically had been destroyed, but investigators can retrieve useful data even from damaged recorders. So maybe not just all of the useful data that they may desire. So, also, Iran invited Boeing, the jet's manufacturer, to help investigate the black box, a government spokesman said, according to Iran's official news agency, the IRNA. Boeing is supporting the NTSB in the investigation, said the spokesman, Gordon Jandreau. So yeah, they're going to get involved. So they're pretty much, looks like they're at least at this point being transparent. I don't know how much access they're going to grant to the black box, but they're inviting everyone in, probably even going above and beyond, inviting the people, the jet manufacturer, Boeing, in here. So that's very interesting. Sanctions against Iran prevent Boeing from contacting its government without an export license, the people said, and Mr. Jandreau said the company is applying for one. So again, I think the sanctions here on Iran, continuing the sanctions on Iran, I think they're big. I think we should probably move towards like normal relations. Is that a crazy thing to say at this point, that we should move towards normal relations with Iran? Because whatever the case may be. I mean, they've saved their face. They've had their little attack. They've had their fun. Like, it's like, we got to move towards peace now. And I really expect this is not going to happen under Trump, but I think it's something that whatever Democratic president gets in office, it's something that needs to happen. I think there really is. If you look at the statements that were released in the wake of this, there's only one Democrat running for president, and you know who it's going to be. It's going to be Bernie Sanders, who's going to actually try to push outside the box and be like, hey, I mean, we could really do better than this. Like, we break outside the Washington ideology of, hey, wait, we can actually do better than just always constantly fighting, increasing sanctions, and ratcheting things up on Iran for this. We could make a big progress here. Like, this could be something that is incredibly helpful. So, yeah, it's like really, really strange. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have more for you in Newsflash in just 46 seconds. Hello, everyone. My name is Spencer Walsh. Here's what's happening on the Spencer Walsh Radio Network. We have Newsflash, always new every Sunday, and, of course, with new episodes occasionally on Thursdays, bonus episodes. Also for you, we have Red Alert, new at 11 p.m. every Monday, Uncultured, new at 8:30 p.m., live at 8:30 p.m. every Friday, the best mix show in the game. And also, we have a brand new line out, repping your generation, insulting the old world, repping the young world. Our new OK Boomer merch line is out now. Check it out on Spreaker.com/TSWS. Trust me when I say, though, there will be definitely some new updates coming to the merch store for the new year, because you know that's what we got to do, right? We know that's what we got to do. Anyway, so I do want to do a little bit more here talking about Iran, where the House Democrats, they have sent a loud no war with Iran message to Trump with the passage of the War Powers Resolution, saying, quote, Congress has been silent for too long. It's time we reclaim our congressional authority over military action from presidents intent on fighting forever wars. And I think if you ask most honest Democrats, that will tell you, yeah, it's both parties that have this problem. It really is both parties that have this problem. Here, it is a massive reality in this entire situation. So, yeah, I do want to get into this. Ilhan Omar at the forefront of this. As the Democrats control the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday, passed a non-binding war powers resolution that would prohibit President Donald Trump from taking further action against Iran without first gaining congressional approval. So hopefully it looks like he was not trying to do this. It's passed 224 to 194, largely along party lines, with just 3 Republicans and 1 independent joining the Democrats in favor of the measure, while 8 Democrats voted against the resolution, 4 did not vote. You can read the full roll call online, which we will do right now to give you those 8 Democrats are voting against the resolution. Like, these are some warmongering names that you should probably take into account. So, look at the Democrats' nays here. It didn't really give you by party, which is interesting. But, yeah, so 3 Republicans kind of flipped over. And they're really, that's annoying. It looks like, yeah, I see, like, Steve Scalise's name is on here. Lee Stefaniak, those are all Republicans. But it's really Jeffrey and Drew, but he switched. He's probably going to go really... Oh, Paul Gottheimer would be one. He's the hard right Republican. Hard right Democrat. He's done some pretty stupid things in the past, but that's one Democrat I managed to pick out from this. But it does not give you this by party, unfortunately. So, Max Rose, there's another one. And I doubt I'm going to be able to find the last 2 Democrats that voted against this. Will Hurd's a Republican. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so that is pretty much what you need to know. 4 Democrats voted against. But anyway, it overwhelmed